Hello Physical Fiends, it's Jordan here again with some just announced physical releases. These are games that were just announced in the past week or two, they are not releasing this week. FANTASIAN Neo Dimension is one I'm massively excited about, so much so I made a whole video about its announcement. Maybe I'm more excited than the average collector out there, but finally seeing Sakaguchi's latest JRPG get a physical release on Switch and PS5, free from the shackles of the iPhone. And yeah, maybe the idea that it was originally a mobile game may put off some people, but let's face it, if Apple's fat paycheck helped fund it, that's alright by me. It's a very unique looking JRPG and has a soundtrack by the equally legendary Nobuo Uematsu, and it's releasing in December and I can't bloody wait. Tales of Grace's F Remastered. I've already talked about this with its Switch and PS5 physical release, but more information has come to light. Since that previous announcement was only in regards to North America, well, Europe, being the chads that they are, also are getting a PS4 physical as well as an Xbox release. So if you want the game on those two systems, you can grab a European version. VGP will be carrying them with the links in the description. And yeah, if you want to pre-order it or any of the retail games in this episode, please consider using the links in the description. That massively helps me and this channel ever so much. VGP are a really nice company with free worldwide shipping on anything over 80 Canadian dollars. That's about 60 American bucks. And yeah, it's a brilliant way to support this channel. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate is a game I've talked about in this series before as well. When its North American physical release was announced, I was a bit worried about a potential European release due to the publisher, but the game has a different publisher in Europe, the ever reliable PICO. Just like the North American release, this will be in February on Switch and PlayStation 5. Slay the Princess, another game that we've talked about before with its North American release, but just been announced that there will be a European release too. And normally I wouldn't feel the need to bring this up like too much, but there is a difference between the two because North America has a standard edition as well as a collector's edition, which is $200. Has a bloody statue with it. However, Europe has a different collector's edition. It's much more reserved and far less expensive, so maybe you want to consider that instead. Monster Hunter Wilds is the sequel to the hugely successful Monster Hunter World from 2018, which was a more modernized take on the genre from what I remember. Less traditional than what came before and well, after, but it sold absolutely bucket loads, sending Monster Hunter to being like Capcom's most profitable franchise. So it's taken a lot of restraint to take this long on a proper successor to that one, but we're gonna see it on PS5 and Xbox Series with a standard edition as well as a Steelbook Edition in February. Monster High Skulltimate Secrets is getting a physical release on Switch, PS4, PS5, and Xbox, which means that it's definitely made by Outright Games since like they're the only company who do that these days. They cover all the bases. Looks to be a simple 3D platformer. A Plague Tale Collection is an affordable double pack of A Plague Tale Innocence and Requiem. It also comes with a steelbook, I think, and is releasing in December only on PS5. As far as I know, these are very highly rated games, very atmospheric with an excellent setting as you try to survive in a very harsh world without much means to defend yourself. Like, it's pretty stealthy and strategic and it looks gorgeous. Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord has been confirmed to be getting a Western physical release, at least in Europe. I previously mentioned this with its upcoming Japanese release, but now there's no need to import it from there since it will have a European retail release. I'm still convinced that Limited Run will do this in North America since, you know, the European edition is being done by their sister company, Clear River Games. So the signs are pretty good for that. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii was announced just before the last episode I put out. I could have edited it in, but I thought I'd leave it to this episode. Now, this has taken me by surprise since I thought it was just like a quirky DLC pack for whichever was the latest Like a Dragon game. But then I remembered, oh, it's in the Like a Dragon series, which means they make like 2 of them a year now, somehow. And yeah, it's a completely brand new game, and I'm completely overwhelmed. But if there is ever a jumping in point, it's gotta be the pirate one, right? This cannot be connected in any possible way to the others in the series. Who wouldn't want a pirate-themed Yakuza game? We know it's gonna be even better than Black Flag, and the only question is, will there be any Sega arcade games in here? That's gonna be a stretch. Looks like dumb fun and is releasing physically on PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series, but there is also a collector's edition on PS5 and Xbox. It's a bit pricey for what you get: an acrylic standee, pirate flag, eye patch, coin, and DLC costumes. But may I draw your attention to Japan's collector's edition, which is for PS5 and PS4. This one has one of them like pop-up pirate toys in it where you stab the barrel, you know what I'm talking about. How fun is that? And the Japanese edition will have English, so yeah, if you want to import this, yeah, I've popped Play Asia links down below for that too, and you can get 5% off with my Play Asia code, Jordan24, don't forget that. Berserk Boy is getting a physical release on Switch thanks to Red Art Games. You can pre-order it right now. I made a whole video about this like a couple of days ago. This is a very well regarded action platformer. I'm surprised it's only getting like a European PEGI release. There is no ESRB version, but if you want the details of release and all 3 editions available, go watch that video that I made. It explains it all perfectly. Soul Quest. I'm going to give a quick shout out to this because this recently launched a Kickstarter with a physical tier available. The physical will be produced by Premium Edition Games, who I work with a little bit just for disclosure. This is a side-scrolling action game that's heavily inspired by Devil May Cry in the combat. I played the demo for it and it seems really good, so go check it out. Check out the demo on Steam and maybe consider backing the Switch physical edition, the tier on the Kickstarter. And just to make it clear, Soul Quest is a different game to Soul Stalker, which is also currently available at Premium Edition Games' website. It's a little confusing, but they're 2 different games. Soul Quest, Soul Stalker. Alright, let's jump into some import announcements. Links below for these are for Play Asia, and as I said already, 5% off with the code Jordan24. Ancient Weapon Holly. I'm gonna resist making a Red Dwarf reference because only like 2% of this audience would get it. Anyways, I love the cover art for this one. It looks like a simple enough action dungeon crawler where you lay traps for monsters. I think the trailer is a bit too honest. It's not very flashy, but I appreciate knowing what I'm gonna get. This will be releasing physically in Japan on the Switch and PlayStation 5 with English in December, and I'll probably get it. PICO Park 1 and 2 is getting a very affordable double pack release in Japan with English language options. These are games that are built with multiplayer, like 2 to 8 people play together to help solve puzzles and do platforming stuff locally or online. But remember, there is no single player option as far as I'm aware. This is releasing physically at the end of December on the Switch. Little Witch Nobeta has already got a physical release around the world. It's a miracle. But I'd also like to point out that there's going to be a re-release in Japan for a budget price and with cute new artwork on the cover. I don't know if it'll be like complete on cart, like a version with all the patches and stuff. I don't think there was anything major, just some small performance stuff and like that, but it would be nice if it was complete, but we'll have to wait and see until it does release. Gimmick 2 is getting a physical release in Japan this December. I feel like it's almost certain to get a Western physical of some kind, at least by limited run in North America, and maybe by Clear River Games in Europe, but if not, it's worth keeping an eye out for this Japanese physical release. Wizardry, the 5 Ordeals. I kind of feel the same way about this one. Could get a similar later announcement about a Western release, but a Japanese release has been confirmed to have English, and I really love the cover art for this one. Like a leather-bound book. It's just classic. It oozes style. It's a first-person dungeon crawling RPG. It looks really good, releasing early next year in January. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, a few new announcements from the past week. Please let me know which new announcement has taken your fancy, and if you'd like to pre-order any of them, please consider using the links below. That is the best way to support this channel and to support me making physical content for you guys. I really do appreciate your support, like from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a fantastic weekend.